Hey guys, Solo here. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Hatch Baby Grow Smart Changing Pad and Scale. We've had this product for about 4 months now. I'm going to be giving you guys the pros and cons that we found with it, and at the end let you guys know if it's something you guys should buy. If you guys like this review, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and let's get started. All right, so here is the scale out of the box. This is what you get. It does come with 2 AA batteries, so it is ready to go. It does have the 2 straps that are detachable. The scale itself is a rubberized foam. It is gray. The material itself is very cushiony, so I don't see a lot of. It is pretty firm, but still not too bad as where it's going to be uncomfortable. It is waterproof, so you actually have that protection there. Really nice build quality. I do like the way that everything is kind of laid out, and the shape is really nice. All right, so here's a view of the bottom. It does have 4 rubberized feet. A battery compartment does come with 2 AA's, and also there's a reset button at the bottom. All right, so here is the app. This is the home screen. Gives you the picture of the day if you want to upload a picture. Gives you your feedings, the amount and how long ago, when was the last time you had a feeding. Also gives you some daily tips, daily schedule, and daily activity. So here's a feature of the app that essentially we use a lot. It's the top right. You have a little picture of a scale. Go ahead and select that. What it will do is it will connect to your Baby Grow scale, and from here you can actually record a weight, start a feeding. If there's any problems if you want to zero out the scale, you can also do that here. So let's go ahead and do that now. All right, now we're ready for a feeding or recording a weight. All right, here I'm actually putting a 15-pound weight on, and just try to show some accuracy. It is off by a little bit, but I think that's all right where it needs to be at. So pretty good on the accuracy on this part. All right, so in this part of the video, we're actually weighing the baby. We're gonna lock her in real quick, and then we'll go ahead and start the app. Sometimes when you have a wiggly baby, it takes a second. This instance, she's not moving that much, so it gets locked in pretty quick. All right, so we're done with the feeding. Now we're going to try to calculate it. She's been feeding for about 20 minutes now, and we're going to lock her in real quick and try to calculate the feeding. All right, so once you get your feedings, you can actually see it show up here in your activity log, show your feedings here. Another way you can look at them is through the tab in here. This is the tab at the bottom, says feedings. Also shows you kind of like throughout the day how many feedings you had, and then as you scroll down you can see other feedings. Another way you can look at this is through the graph in the top left. You can actually see the feeding amount, feeding time, feeding count, how many times. We usually use the feeding amount just so we can get an indicator of how much he's eating in a day. So as you can see, you have your total for the day, and then you can scroll back and look at a few different days. Things like that. All right. And then from here, you can also add manual feeding. So you can go in here and do nursing or a bottle. We typically use this when we're adding a feeding, and basically use that and go ahead and add it, and it shows up over here. Then you can edit it, of course. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. All right, so other features of the app. So you're looking at, we went over feedings. Now there's also the sleep app where you can actually time their sleep. We typically don't use this because we use another app, or we use another device that I'll go over on my next review. And again, just you can go ahead and just start the timer here, and from here it basically will log the time once the baby wakes up, and it'll log it there, and then you can also do some edits and things like that. I'm going to go ahead and delete this now. But yeah, you can also do the same thing. You can get the graphs, you can go back to a different date, or you can add a sleep. All right, the next piece we'll go over is the weight. So you get same thing, you can actually add weight, or right now these are actually been taken off of the scale. Once you do weigh-ins for like a breastfeeding, or if you record a weight, these will automatically get recorded in. And you can also go back, look at the graphs, and also change the date if you want to. As you can see, it's changing, but you can also even go back and pick a specific date. All right, so the last part of this is going into the More's tab. And from here, you basically get the whole view of everything. You can go into your diapers where you can actually put in your diapers. We typically use this so we can track specifically the bowel movements. Typically, we can see around 4 diapers are changed a day, an average of 4 to 5, even 6 on some days. It gives us a good count of how the baby's doing. But you can also do the same thing, look at the graphs, and as well look at the how many different feet, how many she had. And what else do we got here? We got stats. This will give you an indicator of basically the weight, current weight, number of feedings. This is a really good dashboard to kind of see what the average feedings are and the time that typically it takes to do the feeding. Amount of sleep, number of sleeps, diapers, things like that. Length, this is a manual entry, just kind of gives you an idea how the baby's growing. Photos, all the different photos that are in there. You can even do slideshows. Pumping, daily schedules. This is a little confusing, but it kind of gives you an idea of when the baby eats and when they have their bowel movement. So it's kind of pretty consistent. I think it's pretty cool the way that it shows up like that. But it kind of helps you build your baseline as far as what you should expect. And if something changes, you can go ahead and notice that there. Notes, haven't used this before. Looks like you can just add a note. And looks like you can also set reminders as well. Haven't used this feature, but I'm sure it'd be useful in other types of situations. And then the regular stuff and facts and connections and settings. All right, so here's my final take on the Hatch Baby Grow scale. I would give it a pretty high rating. I would say around 4 out of 5 stars. Knock off 1 star primarily because of the strap. One of the things I did notice that while using it is that the strap piece would essentially come off sometimes at that the side connector. So if you're not using it, or if it's on the side, it has a tendency to pop off. I did love the app. You can get the app by itself, but then you won't be able to get the scale portion, but you will be able to use like the tracking features, such as like the diaper changes and the sleep patterns, and also the amount of feedings that you do. You won't be able to use those the scale features, which is the primary reason we got it. When you look at not having be able to calculate breast milk with, if you're not feeding it, if you're just doing it by timing, sometimes you're not able to know exactly. Obviously, the baby's full when they stop feeding, but you won't be able to physically see or to see the weight change. So this kind of gives you a little bit better sense of knowing how much the baby has eaten after a breastfeed, if you're at home, things like that. So again, another piece of this was, wiggly babies would throw the scale off a little bit. When you have a baby that's wiggling like this, it does tend to slow the scale down, so it takes a little bit longer for it to get your accurate reading. But overall, I'm impressed with the scale. I'm impressed with the app. I think they did a really good job on execution of this, and I would definitely recommend it for anybody that's got a newborn that's breastfeeding. It's just a great tool to have in your house, and really get the weight of your baby every single day. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today in reviewing the Hatch Baby Grow Scale. If you guys like this review, please go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Hit that notification bell to get notified every time I drop a new review. Until then, take care.